Hello, everyone at Be the Confident You. It's Jen T here, and I've got a really special guest with me tonight, Chris Reed from Geelong, Bowen and Remedial Therapies. And I've been seeing Chris for a few months now, and I've had some really incredible results. And one thing that you've probably heard me say, type the number 1 in the comments if you've heard me say this before. You've got to show yourself self-love. Now, I heard Chris present last week, and he was talking about there's that mind-body connection where when we're taking care of ourselves physically, it's also going to help us mentally. And I know that there are so many people that are under a lot of pressure and stress, and they're finding things are a bit challenging at the moment. But even if you're not in that situation, it's always great to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. And Chris is a Myotherapist, a Bowen Therapist, and he's also studying his degree as well in science and being able to take care of his clients on a whole different level. But not only that, he also teaches Bowen. And I know when I had Albie, he had colic and reflux, and we could not get him to settle. And so we took him to Chris quite a few years ago, and we had phenomenal results even for our little tiny babies. So Chris, thank you so much for all that you do. My hips are working like a, well, let's say 50-year-old rather than 80-year-old, thanks to you. Which is a massive improvement. But Chris, introduce yourself to everyone at Be the Confident You.
Well, Jen, I don't know I need to say anymore. I think you've done an amazing job so far. We could wrap it up here. I think, yeah, that's a fantastic start, really, seriously. And Be the Confident You. You know, and I said to Jen when I jumped on here, if everyone can see this as a split screen, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, I look like I'm 110 and you look like you're about 30, you know, seriously. Or was it 21? But anyway.
Well, I am 20, so
sorry. Now it's offended everybody. No, but great. Look, it's wonderful to be here, and a real honour to be on Be the Confident You. So yeah, Bowen Therapy has been my life for the last 21 years. Started life as a chef, but my wife's a nurse, and I was really interested in her work. And one day I came home from work from the restaurant one day, and I said, I'm going to be a nurse, and she said, no, you're not. I said, oh, okay. She said, one nurse is enough, but think about maybe what else you'd like to do. And I said, oh, I wanted to do something. I want to make a difference. I want to, make more of a difference in people's lives. Is really what I said to her, which sounds a bit, I suppose, a bit esoteric or a bit wanky even, but seriously, that's it. And I think that's why people go into the types of therapies that we do. They do want to make more of a difference. They want to help. And I suppose no time more than the present that if we can help people, physically and mentally, then really we all need it, don't we? And the amazing work that the nurses and the healthcare professionals are doing at the moment is, we're a real shout out to them. It's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. Both Albie and I have both had visits to hospital in the last month, and they are seriously, I've always really respected them, but everyone in the healthcare profession is definitely going above and beyond their natural calls of duty to take care of the community. But like what we were talking about the other day, Chris, was taking care of your mental health. Now, to you, how does that relate to what you do?
Well, maybe I could tell you a story, Jed, because everyone is seeing at the moment, there's this heightened level of anxiety throughout the entire community at the moment. I think it's obviously the fear of the unknown, the fear of this thing that's out there. Is this person going to pass it on to me? Am I going to get it and pass it on to my kids or my elderly parents? There's this real fear out there at the moment. As I said, it's more this fear of this unknown, but it adds this layer of stress. And when we're stressed, it's let me tell you a story. Okay, so we have in the body, we have the nervous system in the body sort of divide into two parts effectively, what we call the autonomic nervous system, or the automatic bits. Now, you're probably still digesting your dinner, but you're not thinking about it at the moment. Do you know what I mean? The stomach's working away, so there's automatic stuff that's happening in the body. I can move my head because I can say to my muscles in my neck, move my head. So that's a voluntary thing. Now, this autonomic part, once again, is divided into two sections. We have the sympathetic part and the parasympathetic part. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into the science here, but effectively, the sympathetic part is when we're when things are switched on. You've heard of fight or flight? Fight or flight. That's when this sympathetic dominant, if you come around a corner as a caveman and there's a saber-toothed tiger that is about to eat you, all of the blood goes to the big muscles. You get a burst of adrenaline. The hair stands up on the back of your neck. Your eyes dilate so you can see better, and you can run like crazy, or you can fight for your life. So that's a split-second thing. It needs to be all over very, very quickly. And it's meant to be all over quickly, and it's meant for us to survive. So we go into a survival state. But we're not meant to be in this survival state all the time. And unfortunately, at the moment, a lot of people are walking around in this heightened sympathetic dominant survival state. And what we need to do is be able to drop back into what they call this parasympathetic state, or this maintenance, rest, digestive sort of state. And that's what Bowen Therapy seems to be able to do. So you imagine there's a fort, okay? And there's 200 people inside this fort, and they're being attacked by thousands of people outside. So while the attack's happening, everybody's up on the ramparts and they're all shooting out. They're trying to survive. At that time when they're under attack, no one's downstairs cooking lunch, because it's just not important that we eat in an hour's time, because we might all be dead. Do you know what I mean? No one's unblocking the toilet. No one's fixing the broken window. But if something could come along and help the attackers, or make the attackers go away for a few hours, people could come down, they could get some sleep, they could eat, they could unblock the toilet, they could fix the broken window. This maintenance could happen. And then that's how people sort of can survive longer. So, when we're in this stress state, our immune systems are lower, because it's actually not really important right at this moment that we might get an infection and die in 10 days' time, because we need to survive this next 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And what's amazing is that Bowen Therapy seems to be able to take people from this sympathetic dominant, state into this more maintenance or relaxed or maintenance state. And we see it happen a lot. It's amazing. People on the table, often their tummies start gurgling and they apologise for this. Their stomachs really kick off. It's amazing. And they apologise. So that's okay. That's right. It's just all just starting to sort of settle down, So anything that we can do. Now, things like meditation, being in the moment, funny thing about being in the moment, I nearly did a Facebook post the other day, because I was thinking obviously about something else, and I was brushing my teeth, and I put my shaving cream on the toothbrush, and I didn't realise until I've got it in my mouth, and I've got, oh my God. So sitting beside it, and I'm thinking, I'm certainly so not in the moment brushing my teeth, because I'm using shaving cream on the toothbrush, So anyway, there you go. But really, there's a lot of things that we can do, and sometimes people, they make a decision to go along and see a therapist. And sometimes that decision is the first step in them looking after themselves a little bit better, or taking better care of themselves. And it's almost like a subconscious step sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
And sometimes that first step is the hardest step as well, Chris. I know that from my own personal experience. But what you're saying about the nervous system, whenever I get a client, a friend, a family member who is getting into that really heightened state that they're looking so far above what they can control, I try and bring them back to their breathing as well, to try and oxygenate their body, because when we're breathing really shallow as well, what do? We tense up our muscles, we hold our body in a really tight way, which is then going to cause more physiological issues down the track and cause you more pain in the long run. So having techniques there, like I love breathing techniques to just really get me in the moment and be present. But our minds are so busy, and I think it's really important to remember our minds are there to keep us alive, not to keep us happy. And no matter what the situation is happening around us, we get to choose what we're like, the thoughts and the meaning we're giving our thoughts to then feed our brain. So it's like, we create these pictures and things like that along the way, but staying in that heightened state of that high anxiousness or even depression, because the way you hold your body when you're in those states, there's things that are out of our control right now, but let's do things to take care of us so we don't go into that heightened state or don't stay in it as long. Would you agree, Chris?
Most certainly. As I said, sometimes that first step that we do, then you get in touch with some people, whether it be someone who can give you some guidance in some breathing techniques, or some meditation, or some mindfulness, or perhaps get a a more passive therapy, perhaps like Bowen therapy. But once again, that's the start of the steps that you're taking. Do you know what I mean? So, it's really important. I mean, stress does amazing things to the body. You know, whenever you get slightly under the pump or under stress, I remember I was learning saxophone. Right, I was about 50 years old or something. I was learning saxophone. I thought I'd love to play jazz sax. It'd be fantastic. So with my grade 3 exam, now I had to go up to the high school and line up in the outside of the room where the accessor was with all the high school kids. I get in there and the guy goes, "So what is this, midlife crisis or what? You know, this is the assessor, right?" Well, you had to play saxophone. It's a reed instrument. I had no spit. My mouth was as dry as dry. My heart was going about 160 beats a minute, and I couldn't take a breath. I was just all up here like this, and I'm thinking, "You idiot, just settle down." But I couldn't consciously control that. Do you know what I mean? So stress does incredible things to people. You're right. We don't breathe as well. We don't digest our food as well. There's all these hormones running around that we don't need, you know, at that level. So if we can do something like Bowen therapy to get people to settle back, to digest their food better, to sleep better. So many people come in and say to me after they've had their first Bowen treatment, "I had the best night's sleep I've had in years." You know, it's just like that, slowing the brain down a little bit. And if people haven't had Bowen, it's a very gentle, almost slow therapy. You know, you talk about slow food. This is a slow therapy almost. We do a few gentle moves and let you rest for a couple of minutes, because it's about giving the body a gentle stimulus and allowing it to respond. You know, when you've got an old computer and you do
and Jen throws it across the room because she's got no patience. Yep.
You'd give it 10 things to do and it just grinds through the first 3 and then freezes up, or it skips a few in the middle and then tries to work on the last one. Well, the brain's like that sometimes, and the older we are and the more we got going on, our brain is just under the pump, and it almost needs like a bit of a defrag sometimes. You know, we just need to sort of settle down. So give it something to do, allow it to process that, and then move on and do something else with it. So it's using the body's own resources is what Bowen therapy does. So in a nutshell, we say we stimulate the body so it can heal itself, which is an amazing thing. So yeah, it's terrific.
And I've got to say, I've told you this before, the first time I came and saw you, I was so used to being cracked and manipulated. I was actually laying there going, "Oh, I don't think this is going to be enough for me." And it was probably about 4 hours later, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this feels amazing." Like, I really felt a difference within my body, but I hadn't put myself in the mindset to just let go and relax. And for those who know me well, everyone probably knows I love a good chat. And for me to have to lay still is a challenge for me, but the benefits are so amazing. And like I say, it's my me time. It's my hour away from being a mum. It's my hour away from worrying about the house. It's the hour away from being a business owner. It's just Jen chill time. So I would highly recommend it. If you're watching either the live or the replay, if you've had Bowen or Myotherapy before, make sure you type the number 2 in the comments. Or if you haven't yet tried it, type the number 3 so we know who's watching with us tonight. Chris, thank you so much. Even mid-renovations, jumping on late on.
We're in the middle of it here, Jen. I'm sorry. As I said, if we could come back in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be a beautiful bookcase behind me. Seriously, it's going to be one of those ones you see on TV, you know. Anyway.
Love it. Well, Chris, I always ask I nearly said patients. You're not a patient. I'm your patient. How do people contact you if they're interested in finding out more about what you do and how you can help them?
Yeah, sure. Probably jump on the website. I think, you know, we can pop it in the notes below, but it's just geelongbowen.com.au. You'll find me there. And if someone's looking for a Bowen therapist, wherever they live, I can certainly put them in touch with someone, or they can go to the Bowen Association Australia website. There's a practitioner search there. So if you're looking for Bowen therapy, as I said, it just a whole range of things that we haven't really got time to talk about tonight, but from day old babies to little old ladies, we say, and everyone in between, you know, there's often things that Bowen therapy can help with. So certainly let us know. And I also do the Bowen Buzz podcast, which Jen, you're going to feature on very soon. So talking about all things being confident and being on video. So that'd be great. Yes, the Bowen Buzz is on iTunes if the people want to hear more about Bowen Therapy.
Fantastic. And before you run away, because I know
Yes.
you're nervous about my questions, or you're a bit about what I'm going to ask you,
What
does confidence mean for you?
What does confidence mean for me? It's a tricky one, this one, but I just think it's just like turn up. Sometimes if we think about things too much, you just don't get there and do it, or it's a bit like going live on Facebook. I reckon if you turn it on and you point the camera in your face and you just start talking, you'll be okay. But if you're going to do it, if you're going to try and take a video, you'll finish up taking 15 takes of it. Do you know what I mean? And you just won't get it out there. But, I think doing that and just being yourself, really, just turn up, be yourself. And that's what people want. They want authenticity, don't they? If you can say the word, but that's what they want. Yeah.
I love that. I always say that to my clients as well when I'm coaching them with video. Instead of doing a still video because you're never going to get it perfect enough and then you lose that authenticity, just do a Facebook Live. So you're totally backing up what I preach there.
Yeah,
now, Chris, if you ever have to tap into your confidence, what do you do?
Oh, I just imagine everybody in their underwear. Isn't that what you say, Jen? You're going to talk to people. You just sort of just say, hey, But what's wonderful, I think, is this we're sort of seeing this a bit with people on TV at the moment. They're all in their living rooms. They're just people. There's people like you and I. Seriously, I had this wonderful the other day. Listened to Michelle Obama's got a new podcast out. And I can recommend it. She's only done 1 or 2 episodes at the moment. And obviously the first person she spoke to on her podcast was Barack Obama. Why wouldn't you? Hello. I mean, but I said to my wife, I think the next time if we ever go to Chicago, I'm going to text them and say, hey, can we pop round for a cup of tea? Because they are just two so normal people having a beautiful conversation. It was just great. So I can recommend that to you, the Michelle Obama podcast. But I just think just be yourself. It works for me.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Thank you once again, Chris. That whole mind-body connection is real. And I hope that if you have been not putting yourself first or not showing you self-love, I really hope that this has given you that encouragement to know that you are worth it, that everyone needs it, and to make sure you take the time out for you. So once again, thank you, Chris. I will be seeing you again with my almost 80-year-old body, only joking, for another awesome, relaxing Bowen treatment. Thank you.
Good on you, Jan. Love your work and keep getting people to show up and find their confidence, eh?
See you.